What's up, boys, girls, Apache helicopters, and everything in between? It's Ravlar here, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be reviewing Mutated Fury, and in the next couple of days I will be releasing the reviews on the other two mutated abilities, so if you're interested in that, please do drop a subscription so you can be notified as soon as those videos go out. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. I'm streaming a lot these days, so yeah, it'll be nice to see you in there. And of course, please do join my Discord. We have an awesome community. I'd love to chat to you there. But before we get started today, I have a little story to tell you guys. Okay, so I met someone on stream who had never ever had chicken nuggets before. Now, chicken nuggets are something which is very close to my heart. So I felt really bad for him. And you know, we're going to sort the situation out, because it turns out he's going to Runefest and I'm going to buy him some chicken nuggets. Now I'm worried that there are other people out there who haven't had chicken nuggets before, and if you're one of them, there's no shame in it. Just let us know down below and we'll get you some help, okay? We'll sort this out together and you should have your nugs in no time. But anyway guys, let's get cracking with today's video. So the first ability that we are of course going to discuss is Mutated Fury. Now you can unlock this ability by buying the codex from the GE or getting a drop from Elite Dungeons 2, and I believe it is around 11 mil at this current time, but please don't quote me on that as prices do fluctuate. But before we get into the analysis of the new mutated ability, let's quickly go through what the normal Fury does, and this way we can put the new ability into perspective. So the key points that we need to pay attention to is that Normal Fury is a channeled ability and it hits 3 times. The first hit does 75% damage, the second one does 82%, and the final one does 89% damage. Now how Fury works is that for each hit that's landed, the next attack that you do will get a 5% bonus to crit chance, which is very nice. However, in reality, because Fury is a channeled ability and it takes quite a lot of time to do the 3 hits, it's never worth actually going through with the 3 hits. The best way to use Normal Fury is to cancel it on global cooldown. This way you get 2 of the Fury hits and you get a 10% bonus crit chance to the next attack. So if used correctly, Fury becomes a 157% damage ability and gives your next attack a 10% crit chance. Now the downside of Normal Fury is that you can't use it in Slayer, because if you let Revolution take care of it, basically it does all 3 hits over a long period of time and the DPS is very low. In order to unlock Mutated Fury, you need to read a Mutated Fury Codex, and it's important to note, as things currently stand, Mutated Fury completely replaces Fury, so once you have Mutated Fury unlocked, you don't have access to Normal Fury, so best to keep that in mind. Now, while Normal Fury is a channeled ability, the mutated variant is a single attack ability, which means that you'd get 157% weapon damage with just 1 attack. Now this is the exact same amount of weapon damage you would have got using Normal Fury if you had cancelled it down on global cooldown. Also, Mutated Fury gives a 10% crit chance to your next attack, which is the exact same as Normal Fury. But where it differs is obviously the not channeling process, but also if Mutated Fury crits, that means the next attack that you do will be a guaranteed critical hit. Now for those that don't know, a critical hit is when an ability deals between 95% to 100% weapon damage. So based on that alone, there is a flat 5% chance for every single ability that you use to be a critical hit. Now, because Mutated Fury has that 5% chance to crit, that means that we gain an effective additional 5% chance on top of the 10% chance from the ability itself. If that didn't make sense, just hold on, I'll try and explain it. Basically, what this means is that we have a 5% chance of Mutated Fury to crit, and as a result we have an extra 5% chance for the next ability that we do to also critical hit. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I'll try and explain down in the comments below if you let me know that you're struggling with it. Just a quick note on that analysis which I just did. Basically, I didn't include any of the critical chance hits from Biting 3 or the Grimoire, just because I want to compare the 2 abilities directly, and that may confuse things a little bit. Now let's talk about its application. The TLDR of Mutated Fury is that your DPS rotations should not change. Now, I'm not a pro at DPS rotations, but from what I've tested and what other people have said, this is the conclusion that I have come to. Now, it's interesting to note that even with the bonus critical hit chance of Mutated Fury over normal Fury, it's still not amazing if you're sweaty and you do two-hand to dual-wield melee switches. Now, this is because you have access to some exceptionally strong 188% basic abilities. Just a quick note on that is in general, but there may be a few niche scenarios where when Mutated Fury crits, because you can predict the next hit as a critical hit, you may want to adjust your rotation slightly. I've seen people say that they like to use it with Forceful Backhand because it basically ensures that a high variance ability does its max damage, and I've seen some people talk about using a D-Long spec, but let's not get into that. Basically, in general, your rotation does not change, but if you don't like to do sweaty switches and you're just using two-handed melee or dual-wield melee separately, well, Fury becomes more powerful as you use it a lot more in your rotations. Now, I'm not the guy to teach you your DPS rotations because frankly, I'll probably decrease your DPS. But anyway, the June Song has made an amazing melee DPS rotation guide, so I'll link that in the top right if you guys want to check that out and improve your melee DPS rotations. Now, where Mutated Fury comes into its own is when you're doing Slayer. Now, I'm sure that 99% of you guys out there, including me, just chill and revo Slayer, and this way we have a very strong ability that we don't need to cancel like we did with normal Fury, meaning it's even more AFK. This allows us to prioritize our strongest abilities and eliminate weak damaging basic abilities like Slice and Sacrifice from our ability bar altogether. So just to summarize, Mutated Fury is slightly stronger than normal Fury because of the additional crit chance, but it's not strong enough to justify you changing your DPS rotations. Where it really comes into its own is with Revolution, so if you're someone who likes to do Revolution bosses and Revolution Slayer, this will really help out with your DPS. But if you're someone who likes to be sweaty like I do with melee and switch between dual wield and two-hander, Mutated Fury, you really don't feel the benefit of this buff too much. Also, there are some small caveats where some boss mechanics can't be taken advantage of. For example, at Rax you can't res the web shield like you could with the old channeled Fury, and because Mutated Fury completely replaces the old Fury, you're kind of left being unflexible. So boys, girls and Apache helicopters, a final word on Fury. At 10 mil or 11 mil, it's worth the purchase I think, even if it's just for some Slayer revo, and to be honest, it's nothing game breaking. It doesn't increase your DPS a lot, but it's more of a quality of life update. However, with that being said, I would like to see Jagex release the old Fury as well, because we shouldn't really be penalised in some places for purchasing something which is meant to improve our DPS. Overall though, if you're someone who doesn't like to do sweaty switches, this is a good ability to have, and yeah, it's nice, it's not amazing, and that's about all I can say about it. But anyway, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I did try my very best to cover most things which are important, and I know I'm not a June Song, but if this did help you, please do drop a like, it does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys in the next couple of days with the other 2 Mutated reviews, so please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow. To the outro.